Hello.
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 Goodbye.
Hi.
Hi.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Fuck.
This is a new Mix and Mojo podcast. It's very exciting. My name's Gabez. I'm from England, which is a country where the Queen lives. We've got Zaarin, who's coming live from the moon.
Hello.
From his lunar base on the moon. That's why his sound quality is a bit garbled. And also Daniel from the north.
I'm from the north.
Is that right, Daniel? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm undercover. I don't sound like I'm from the north anymore, but it's okay. Trust me. I'm definitely from the north.
And we've got a cracking show for you tonight, this week. We're going to be doing this weekly, possibly. Although, I haven't actually seen into the future, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But we're going to try, and it's going to be 10 minutes long.
We'll try for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's going to be like a condensed nugget. It's going to be like you've pooed out something. You've done a really big poo, and the poo has been compressed into like a tiny little nugget, like a pellet, like a rabbit poo. And you've just kind of accidentally eaten it by listening to this podcast. You're eating our shit, quite literally.
Right.
And that's the way we're sort of seeing this.
But it's very efficient. It's a very efficient process. And
Yeah, and we should also say that we've been away from the podcast for a long time, or at least I have.
yeah.
But we've actually been working on other podcasts that we can't publish because they're too mold-breaking, controversial, offensive, difficult to understand. But maybe we'll be bringing those to a secret location as soon as we get clearance from the CIA.
And the LFN. Don't forget the LFN. They still have legal papers, in the offing relating to at least one of those podcasts.
So we've already wasted 2 minutes just talking complete rubbish.
Which is like 20% of the whole thing.
I know. It's very exciting. So let's launch into our first feature, which is a roundup of the news to the Cook Chase theme. Okay, Sam & Max retrospective. Star Wars is out on Blu-ray, is it? Is that right? It's coming out now. It's coming out again, but this time it's gold.
It's September.
It's blue.
It's impossible to digest that news post quickly, so move on. A vampire story is never going to happen.
There's a prequel and a sequel,
prequel,
but the sequel is not done.
The prequel's going to happen, but the sequel won't happen because that's how we're doing it now in this century.
Back to the Future is come out again. Lego Star Wars 3 has come out, apparently.
And there was a game called Hector came out.
Hector, badge of carnage. Telltale Games are going to be releasing things from the Xbox 360. It's very exciting.
The Jurassic Park isn't coming out anymore. No more Jurassic Park, but maybe later.
And that's the news.
So
That's all the news that's ever happened. Also, someone called Obama bin Hussein has been captured in Australia. I think that's right, something like that.
it was either.
I'm making it topical.
It may have been Austria, but I mean they sound similar enough. I don't think anyone will really, complain about the details on that.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's my Australian accent. I'm going to do the rest of the podcast according to my Australian accent, just to make it really authentic for all the Australian listeners
Have you ever
down under.
Have you ever seen an Australian scientist, by the way?
No, they don't exist.
I've never seen an Australian in like a
It's a good point.
white coat with maybe shorts or something. But I think they would be the best scientist possibly, because you just have imagine like one of them talking about global warming or something. It would be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, what's the best news, do you think, this week, or the most exciting for you?
The most exciting news for me, apart from the Star Wars, is the fact that
Star Wars?
I was really excited about Star Wars because I've been waiting.
Sorry, what?
I've been waiting for Star
What do
Wars
you
to
mean?
be released on home video for years.
You're talking about the film. Sorry, I thought you actually meant literal Star Wars. It was like, when did that happen?
No. You're thinking of next week's podcast. I'm not
Right.
supposed to know anything about what happens in the news next week, so let's just skip past that.
Okay.
The fact that Jurassic Park was delayed is very interesting because we'd all been kind of growing increasingly uneasy about Telltale's business model and that things felt a little bit rushed. And
Yeah, they were lacking polish.
it's pronounced
uh,
Polish.
Polish. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
I
very
mean that's something else that happened this week. I made a comment about the word polish being used all the time, and I accidentally set off World War III in the comments.
yeah. That's you've basically become the new Dan Petit, or is it Petit? I don't know because there's two T's in there. I don't think it's French. Is it Dan Petit?
It's pronounced Don Petit.
Oh, okay.
Because he is from France, and of course he takes this all the time.
You make it sound like he's actually in the mafia though, like Don Petit.
Oh yeah, that's possible as well. Speaking of the Mafia, has anyone played Hector? Is that a good game? Should we be playing it, do you think?
I think Roger's played it.
It's okay. I mean, it was more fun than the Back to the Future games because I was able to form an opinion before the game actually ended. So I can appreciate that Remy is able to actually write a review of a game that short.
It's not actually made by Telltale, though, is it? It's made by some
Grand Looper Games in Ireland, in Belfast.
in Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Semantics.
Northern
Northern
Ireland.
Ireland. It's
dangerous.
tinged with controversy already.
Full of all kinds of things. Something else that we didn't mention that's happened is that Telltale have a deal where they can give you a free copy of an entire season of Sam & Max if you buy your mother some flowers.
Oh yeah.
This is literally true. It's all I'm not making this up. It's all part of Telltale's plan to sort of come across as a loving, caring family kind of company.
It's
which
actually
is bollocks
it's a really strange thing, because what that is effectively saying, hey, when you have to buy presents for people, that really blows, doesn't it? Because you could spend that money on yourself. But what we've done here is we've figured out the most crafty way possible for you to give us money to buy a game, but make it feel like you're not buying yourself a game at all. You're actually doing something for someone else. So you say, hey, Mum, Happy Mother's Day in America, because it's much later in America.
You have to say it in an American accent.
Hey,
Hi,
Mom.
Happy Mom's Day.
And then you hand over the flowers, and she's thrilled. Oh, what a thoughtful thing you've done for me. This is the nicest thing you've ever done. I remember last year you went out and you bought, Tales of Monkey Island for yourself, and you said, well, at least I'm not out on the streets. At least I'm not, doing drugs in the gutter. And she said, well, that's a small, consolation for the fact that you spent money that was for a present for me on yourself. But fine, we won't say it's selfish. But this is really tricking her, because then after you give her the flowers, you say, well, I'll let you put those in a vase or whatever. I don't know how it works. Good luck with that. And then you go upstairs and you've got your free Sam & Max. Which costs more, the flowers or the game?
Or the love that Telltale give you.
Well, the love is unconditional, surely.
Yeah, it's a cult of love, though, isn't it? I mean, there were some comments about the Jurassic Park thing. They were like, ooh, this really proves that they love us, because they've delayed their shitty game for, like, another year or something like that. Of course they've delayed their game. They're working on about 5 billion different titles at the same time.
It is true that they have got a
Did you see the graphics? I don't remember dinosaurs being made out of plasticine.
Well, it's a thing, the less realistic they look, the less scared you will be of the dinosaurs, because it's going to be intense. It was too intense, evidently.
It was too intense just watching the film. I mean, I saw the scene with the toilet, and that was enough for me. I honestly don't think it's a very exciting concept for a game when you can actually be making up concepts that are kind of fitting for games. Why all these movie licenses? I mean, Dan, you work in the industry. I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but it's true.
Vaguely, not for long.
Well, what's your opinion, kind of, on the? I mean, what I think is that the format should be for the type of thing it is.
Yeah, I've experienced this, and you're right in that I can't talk about it. But it wouldn't really be difficult for anyone to figure out and use a bit of research to get at, what I'm talking about. It was a project that was attempted to be converted into a film license, and it was done in a way that was sacrificing the integrity of what the thing was, because the kind of impression is, even though that everyone kind of acknowledges it's not a secret that licenses are not popular, there's this idea that because there's an established fan base, it will sell well. and it's business people getting involved in creative decisions. It's not really the same with Telltale because it's not like they were making Dinosaurville and then someone said, hey, let's turn it into Jurassic Park, because that's slightly different. But there is still an argument that these not all licenses are well suited to adventure games.
Well, I guess we'll find out, and we're going to have to wrap it up there because
We've
we
reached
finished
the
with
end.
our 10 minutes.
That's it.
I'm having to go back to my prison cell now.
You're still in
And,
prison for the
Dan,
bat
I think
thing.
you're jetting off to Mozambique. Is that right?
Mozambique it is. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
For the annual Adventure Games convention.
Yes, this year they're happening. It's like a beautiful tented village, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not allowed to do any coverage for Mojo, unfortunately, but if you read my personal blog at Smut Center, then you'll find out all about it.
This was you were personally invited by Ron Gilbert, who was coincidentally the only person who's actually going to be at the conference. Is that right?
It's his conference. I mean, Ron Gilbert sets it up. He's kind of the godfather of adventure games. He's gone into trouble, with people like Roberta Williams and some of the people from Infocom and the guy who did the cave adventure thing in the 70s or whenever it was. They all disagree with him, but he's in a position now where he can write his own histories, and even if that does exile him to Mozambique, it's still it's a brave thing for him to do.
Yeah, I heard the last person who disagreed with him about history was actually deleted from time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's no proof.
We have to go.
But yes.
We might see you next week, hopefully.
Hopefully.
At the same time, same place. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.